there are so many different ways and reactions of different people, but that doesn't mean there's necessarily a right way or a wrong way.
Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and a Bible. If you like the idea of a casual yet meaningful chat about the Bible with a couple of mates, listen in, something in here could be good for you today.
Today is day 144, covering Nehemiah 1, 2 and 3. If you'd like a brief overview of those chapters, they're in the description below.
So I can tell it's been a while since we've been recording because we had the 3, 2, 1. I was like, I feel like I need to do something. I was like, oh yes, start the timer. So I'm a few seconds.
Start the episode. Yeah, man. I think you were a bit ill and out of it for the last couple of recordings. I think you're still recovering a little bit, but mostly over it. I'm ill as heck today, and I feel a bit out of it. So I was barely knowing what I was doing. I think I added a couple of words there. Whatever.
It's
all good.
Yeah, so today we start the Book of Nehemiah. Usually we give a relatively comprehensive overview on the book. Today, because like we've done with Chronicles and Kings, it's kind of a continuation of the book of Ezra. And so it's kind of in that same 445 to 433 BC, just focusing more on the building of the wall rather than the returning of the Israelites to Jerusalem. And honestly, the big part of this book, it kind of shows a lot of the debate over... Actually, no, whatever. It shows a lot of the debate over the land of Israel and Jerusalem is nothing new because it's sort of started and originated here, really. More of the faithfulness of God and human opposition and all that kind of crap, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. So the other thing that some people talk about is Ezra is really the rebuilding of the temple, and Nehemiah is more the rebuilding of the walls around the temple and stuff. So, but yeah, it's all part of the same narrative, as you say. It actually originally was just one book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At which you said at the start of Ezra. So yeah, I'm going to point it straight to Jesus, which I like to do, and I know we both like to do as much as we can, of course. So let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer your servant is praying before you day and night for your servants, the people of Israel. And that bit there is Nehemiah 1:6. It's just reminding us to pray with impunity, which is what Jesus taught. Pray with impunity. And while I've been sick, that's been it's been something I've talked about on the podcast before. I struggle sometimes to turn to God when I'm in a bad place. I'm really good at glorifying God when I feel good, but when I feel rotten, I almost turn away a little bit, like toxic manhood thing, like I'm ill, I'll fix it type crap, which is not good. But through this, I've been praying with impunity, just like, Father, please help me with this. Please take this away. Please fix this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it really has been impunity. Like, I think God will be like, yeah, I get it. You've prayed 100 times today. So just do that, people. Pray with impunity, especially, just do that. Turn to God as much as you can.
Too right, mate. And you know what? Kicking it off, mate. That's good.
Awesome. I'm appreciative of that.
The first thing that I got out of it was basically it's Nehemiah, just his heart burning and hearing what was going on in Israel. And it says that for some days he mourned and fasted and prayed. And this actually brought back to me something which I was thinking from the end of Ezra, where Ezra sat in this situation. I can't remember the exact details of it. And he was appalled until evening sacrifice. And it's this idea of in the past, I've been guilty of if something bad happens, you just kind of have to swallow it and move on. Sit on it for a few minutes. But if you can't affect it, don't let it affect you effectively, move on from it. But I've been learning in the last few weeks through reading this that actually I need to be more sort of understanding of people who react differently to me, who need to spend a little bit longer sitting and stewing on stuff, because there's two examples right here of people that have received bad news and really taken that on board and really taking a long time to sort of recover from that. And so that's kind of where I got it from that, really. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. You're exactly right. There are so many, we'll talk about this in different ways throughout today, I think, but there are so many different ways and reactions of different people, but that doesn't mean there's necessarily a right way or a wrong way. I would say your way is more of a stereotypically man way. I'm kind of the same. Yeah, that's it.
Not often a stereotypical man.
A stereotypical man. Yeah, if we have a problem, we just try and push it down and then go and cut wood in our yards with axes.
Which I actually do, so maybe I am.
That's actually sick, by the way. That's actually awesome. Totally random. I know neither of us on TikTok, But Stephanie was showing me the other day a TikTok and literally the entire channel is just this incredibly handsome man just cutting bits of wood. That's the whole channel, and it's got like millions of views. Anyway, so there you go. You should start that channel. Maybe at each strike you could do a Bible verse.
So anyway,
yeah, carry on. I think you've got another one or two before my next one. We'll try and keep it in order as best we can, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Well, actually, one of them was going forward slightly. I like it because so much of Nehemiah, and it's been in other sort of recordings of it and other, whatever the word I'm looking for is, like, yeah, whatever, studies of it and stuff like that, focuses on the leadership of Nehemiah. And it's something which I'm going to touch on quite a lot through the book of Nehemiah, because having listened to it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just, you can see it through, because it starts off, and I love the way that he is taking responsibility, because it has in Nehemiah 1 verse 6, I confess the sins we Israelites, including myself and my ancestral family, have committed against you. Like, he's immediately taking responsibility. The whole thing, you know, you celebrate other people's wins, but you take responsibility when your team fails, kind of thing. I think that is such a huge leadership quality, is being able to take responsibility.
Yep, 100%. There's actually a great book I recommend called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. It's not a Christian book, but it's about a Marine SEAL, like the leader of a Marine SEAL team. And that's one of the big things. He says, if my team fails, whether I was even there or not, it's my responsibility. I've done something wrong. So yeah, 100%. As Christians, it's important to of our stuff as much as possible, like hyper responsible. Awesome stuff. We've both got the same one next, I think. So I'll just go, and then obviously feel free to add more if we've said something different. Sure. If you return to me, obey my commands, then even if your exiled people are at the farthest horizon, I will gather them from there and bring them to the place I've chosen. Nehemiah 1:9. So it's God's mercy, his complete forgiveness. Obviously, Nehemiah's understanding of that, but it also, I think, links to the story of the prodigal son. I really love that idea. And no matter how often they muck up, as long as they turn back to God, God will turn back to them and actually come down and cloak us and celebrate us coming back, you know?
That's very true, man. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I took out of that is it's just clearly Nehemiah knows his scriptures. Yeah. Then remember what you said to your servant Moses, and then quotes it. And obviously, I think that's a really important thing for us that we've learned through doing the Bible like we're doing it. To know it and to learn it is really important, to be able to call on it for yourself. And so he clearly knows his scriptures as well, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I then went on to say where obviously at this stage he is approaching the king, because he's been the king's cupbearer, which is a really highly elevated position to be, such a position of authority. It can often be misconstrued as like, oh, he's kind of this lowly cupbearer, but actually in the context, that is a really high position to be. So he's obviously a very trusted individual as well.
Yeah, well, that's actually a really cool thing as well. Like, in a sense, we're all like cupbearers to the Lord, right? Like, just having the opportunity to be in the presence of that ultimate authority, the living God.
Yeah.
You know, that already is a massively high, powerful position. And then he ends up asking the king, right, for everything and getting it. So that's pretty sick as well. My next one was Sanballat the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arab heard about the rebuilding of the wall and mocked and ridiculed the Jews. And just said, are you trying to rebel against our king? And I just said that's Nehemiah 2:19. I was just saying, many will follow the rulers of the world and mock us for not doing the same. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, but never forget who the real one in charge is. Yeah,
that's very cool. Couple more things we'd like hardly touching on today as we started so early on. A couple of things in there. I love the fact that when the king asks him what he wants, his first response is to pray before he even answers. Just that quick little prayer, and then just trust that your response will be something that God has. There are going to be a few other leadership qualities which I'm probably going to throw into tomorrow then. The first one, which I'll just mention briefly here, is basically like Nehemiah is obviously doing the legwork. He's scouting out the area, he's seeing what's involved, what's needed. He is so motivated, and it's this whole let your actions speak louder than your words kind of deal. And so motivate was another one. We're going to have to throw the rest in tomorrow. So tomorrow's readings, Nehemiah 4, 5, and 6. So why don't you beautiful people pick up your Bible, get yourself reading.
In the meantime, please consider joining us on social media at 2 Brits and a Bible and sharing this with someone to help spread the word of God.